Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamey Daddy channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So I got a comment from one of the audience members here, and they said, hey, can you make a video explaining mods? I don't really understand all of these different mods that are in the game. And with the Division game, or Division 1 or 2, mods have always been little pieces that you can equip with your gear to augment your stats, make them better, maybe stronger, maybe more efficient. And so in essence, what is going to pretty much happen is in this video, I'm going to kind of take a general outlook on mods. But at the end of the day, you're responsible for pretty much learning all of the different mods that will suit your playstyle. Now, some mods are, quite interesting because they are more generalist and some are more specific. So it's kind of weird the way they've actually done it. And one thing I'm going to be very frank about too with the Division game is mods have never necessarily been done very well. So that's more, likely the reason why, that audience member was kind of confused about what the whole modding system is. So when it comes to mods, there are different kinds. There are gear mods. There are also weapon mods. As well. And so this is probably what really is confusing to some people. When I say gear mods, I'm talking about the attachments, and there are different ones, for your different weapons, scopes, you got muzzles, you got, magazines, you got underbarrels. All of these things are mods that really give you stats on your weapon. We're not going to jump into that today because I don't necessarily think that's what the question was asking. I think the question was probably much more being specified much more towards the gear mods. Now, here's the thing. Gear mods are really interesting pieces that pretty much help to augment your gear, and they come with different stats that can be very useful when it comes to actually putting your build together. So if you notice on this build, I have an armor on kill mod that I've placed on my mask. In terms of gear, you have the opportunity to slot in a gear mod in your mask, in your backpack, in your chest piece, and I think that's it. You don't have any more mod spaces on other gear items unless you're running some of the, I would say, improvised items. Now, what those are items that you can actually craft if you've actually unlocked a bunch of your blueprints in the base of operations. And those allow for you to be able to use mods in some other gear items that you can't use in brand sets and gear sets. Long story, but let's just forget that. So the mods basically, they go to show pretty much the different stats within the game. Now, when it comes to gear, you have offensive mods, defensive, and utility mods. These mods pretty much provide you stats that do go in line with the different, I would say headers that they're under. So the offensive mods include critical hit chance mods, headshot damage mods, critical hit damage mods, and I think, is that all there is? Yeah. So headshot, crit damage, crit chance are pretty much the mods that you have for your offensive. I don't know if you have any other one. I'm not necessarily certain. Now, the way you use these is you use these to complement your build. So you're trying to build you're trying to put a weapon damage build together, and you need 60% critical hit chance. Some mods can take you to that 60%, cap, because it's a maximum 60% cap to reach critical hit chance in a Division 2. You may also want some more critical hit damage, and you can use a mod to also augment your build and grant you a little bit more critical hit damage. In terms of, say, the defensive mod, you can maybe say you want to go for a build that has armor on kill. So maybe you have your armor on kill and all that, and you're able to pretty much just go ahead and dome that, and you're now you have armor on kill. And so it's one of those really cool things where you can put it on all of your pieces, and as you take out an enemy, armor starts to regenerate or even gets given to you. So this is one way to use it. Another way to use these defensive mods is, because of the way they are, you can use defensive mods that are specific to that are specific to a kind of status effect. So if you notice here, I have a mod that says this gives me 9.1% disrupt resistance. I have another mod here that gives me 9% disorient resistance. I also have another one that gives me 9% shock resistance, another that gives me 9% bleed resistance. Now, here's the thing. all of these status are under the hazard, category pretty much. I think they all are because they all provide some kind of a status effect that can weaken you as a player. Now, I don't necessarily know if Disorient is actually part of them, Disrupt is part of the hazards, but I know Disorient is also a hazard. If you're able to run, all of these, it will make no sense unless you're running them to go against or prevent you from being affected by a specific status effect. What you want to do is you want to pretty much, run hazard protection on your gear, which basically, is a blue stat or whatever it is you want to call it. It's a blue, there it is. It's one of the defensive attributes. And if you notice, I have hazard protection on this gear item. So I run hazard protection, and then on my mods, what I want to run is whatever kind of status I do not want to be affected by, I will run those mods. So say I'm going to play against, the hyenas. The hyenas usually use a lot of their status effect, type weapons or whatever it is that they use. Or say I want to play against the outcasts. The outcasts are always using fire. So what you want to do in a situation like that is you want to go in a place with, some of the burn resistance that you can get. So you find mods that can actually give you burn resistance, and you actually put them on, and it will give you a little bit of resistance from that. Or in the case of bleed resistance, why would you even want to use bleed resistance? Well, there's one of the exotic SMGs that actually bleeds you, and the best way to run it so that you don't die from your own critical hits stacking a bleed on you is to actually run hazard protection and bleed resistance. So these are how mods work when it comes to the gear in the game. You're using them to just basically add stats to your own agent via your gear, and that's pretty much how it is that you can leverage them. Now, these are just gear mods. They're, like I said, they're weapon mods, they're gear mods. They're also skill attachments, which we also call skill mods. But this is also pretty much a whole nother story by themselves. I mean, from simple terms, they're just mods that you can attach to your skill to give them a little bit more oomph. Say, for instance, the hives. The hive has basically launcher slots. So if I'm using a chem launcher, if I'm using a hive stinger hive, this basically, will give me, this is a restorer hive, this will give me 4 extra repair charges. So I go in there and I mod them and I add that. This is a stinger charge. I mixed them up. I use the stinger hive a lot. So for me, I have to actually go in there and I have to get that mod going. So here I got 4 stim charges. I don't need it. I actually need the stinger charges so I can get a little bit more damage on my stinger hive. So that's pretty much how you use it. If you have a mod for the chem launcher, if you notice, this is a mod that gives me extra burn strength. This one gives me extra ensnare health. I got more burn strength, so I'm going to go for more burn strength because I use the fire starter. So I want to get more of that burn because that's pretty much how you use it. So it's just like I said in the beginning of the video, you're augmenting your agent, you're increasing your stats, you're improving your player power. And so your goal is to be looking for mods as you're farming through the game. Now, the ugly side is good mods are very hard to come by. You will farm and farm and farm before you get your hands on something really solid. And when I mean something solid, I'm talking about something that is max rolled. It's not very easy to find, items like that, but they are in the game. They're quite available, but they're very rare. I think I have all my playtime. I think I've only been able to gather or garner about 3 max rolled mods overall when it comes to say gear mods anyways. In terms of the skill mods, I think I've been able to garner a good number of them, but they're on different characters on different accounts. I finally got skill haste the other day. That was quite interesting to get from my turrets and all that. So it's all based on you just reading, based on you experimenting, based on you just, utilizing everything to the best of your own ability and then eventually seeing what works for you. But take your time and look through the descriptions. I think it's very easy for people to want to jump in on other aspects of the game and abandon some of the really small things that really do matter in the Division 2. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I don't want this video to span too long. Thank you so much for your time and audience. Hopefully we'll talk soon. Peace out.